building rope swings, fishing, hunting, you name it. We did it all on our property. I didn't know that you actually had to have a license to hunt on your own property until I think I hit junior high. That there was like a couple of my male friends were like saying, "Well, they got a shooting class coming up, and I'm going to get I'll get my gun permit." I'm thinking, you actually have to get a permit to wield a gun, to shoot a gun. I'm like, and you actually have to take classes. I go, didn't your father take you out back and say, son, you aim this in at whatever you aim to hit and kill.
Yeah.
And don't aim it at anything otherwise.
And I have to share that too, because my father just recently passed away, and my father was a great marksman. He was a trap shooting champion, my first wrestling coach, and he was a great man and taught me how to hunt as well as a youngster, as a young man. And it's a skill that a lot of young men today don't know. But let's talk.
Not only just not know, they've never done. They have not wielded a gun. They haven't shot at targets. They haven't shot at game. And again, not to shoot at game simply to, again, that was one of the things my father also was told, was like, you don't shoot things just for sport.
No.
You shoot things that you're going to eat.
Absolutely.
So even when I shot a couple of squirrels, them squirrels were cleaned and you ate them.
My mother used to make, my mother being an Italian, Sicilian woman, she used to make squirrel cacciatore when we were youngsters.
Really?
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't think I've ever quite heard of that
Well,
delicacy, but
I'll explain that a little bit as a chef myself. Cacciatore in Italian means hunter. So anything that you kill, be it rabbit cacciatore, we had even pigeon cacciatore. They call cacciatore. And it's a recipe that you make with whichever kind of a game you harvest.
that you catched.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
I thought there might be a play off of that cacciatore that you catch.
Catch, exactly.
Yeah.
That's probably where the word catch came from the Latin and the Italiano, cacciatore. And Dan, you were at
A milk cow.
yeah.
But to actually have real milk, to have actually make butter, real butter from the cream that you would you would as the milk would settle, you would just strain it through a cheesecloth so that any kind of impurities would ever get into it. You strain it through the cheesecloth, and then you let the milk sit for a couple hours, and you'd be surprised. Out of say maybe a couple gallon bucket of milk, the top couple inches would be all nothing but solid cream. You lay it on off. And my mother used to, again, having so many different siblings, she would go into different classrooms and she would make up a little mini loaf of bread for each of the children. And then she would go in there with the cream, and they would actually be taking turns of an old butter churn, just went up and down.
Yep.
And they would and the kids would take turns churning the cream and actually turn it into butter, and then they would all have their own little piece of a loaf of bread, and they could try what real butter tasted like.
True butter. And a lot of people don't know too, milk, unpasteurized milk is clear. You know, the milk that we drink, the white milk, we don't realize. I had the opportunity when I was a teenager in the summer. There was a farm that we used to hunt on up in Argyle, New York, in upstate New York, because my dad had a place up there. And I had the opportunity to work on the dairy farm, and my dad made me do that. He said, I want you, because my dad grew up on a chicken farm. He said, I want you to work on the farm.
Move that you hit.
Well, what we used to call, and everybody calls things different, but what we used to call the pancake. And I know a lot of people assign different names to it, but essentially a pancake can be caught from a couple different positions. When somebody shoots on you and you do like a half sprawl, grab the chin, and you switch your weight and drive them down.
Take like an underhook or a head?
Yeah,
or
underhook,
okay.
Chicken wing, and switch your weight, drive down, post your legs. Now, I know that they didn't know the term pancake in the South. They call that by a different name down there, because there's so many different names. You can hit a pancake too from a snap down. But I've known you for a long time. We've done some world-class wrestling clinics. You came and joined me at my alma mater, Norwalk High School, to raise money for the Mats, which I considered an honor to have you there. I was in the main event, of course. You were on the undercard.
Wrestling against
the cauliflower.
Yeah.
Busting the cauliflower over his head.
And he actually did have a set of good cauliflower ears.
Cauliflower
to
ears,
match
yes.
the cauliflower. So yeah.
Chase Brown was a stud wrestler out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, and wrestled for a small college up there, and got into jiu-jitsu.
If I need a little bit of motivation, I know right where to look at it. And so they have these matches that were supposed to be videotaped. I mean, they were. And if they found out that they were wrong, either the bout was supposed to be rescored, other man declared winner, or they were supposed to re-wrestle the match completely. I mean, they just had a couple alternatives that they came up, which made sense. And out of these, either 38 or 48 filed protests, all the others were done exactly that way, except mine. Mine was swept underneath the carpet.
And, Gable was trying to stack that team with Iowa wrestlers.
Of course he was, because he was the Olympic coach, and he was also the head coach of Iowa University. And Iowa, again, to his kudos, Iowa had a incredible